into my 6th week. It was actually the weekend that we told Tyler's side, and that Sunday I noticed some bleeding. Nothing crazy, but it was my first time. I just thought it was spotting, like everything says on Google, everyone says, and so nothing that I needed to wear any protection down there or anything like that, and it only lasted 3 days, and then after that nothing. So okay, thought it was fine, no big deal. The 7th week came along. I was back out of town, and again spotting happened the Sunday before I left that night, and then Monday it continued on, still light, still not that big of a deal until Monday night. Between 7 and 8, I noticed that the bleeding had gotten heavier and a lot more of it. There's clotting. Sorry, TMI. But that's when I knew something wasn't right, and it was heavy and kept going and going, and then I began to feel crampy. And throughout the day I did notice that I had some lower back aches, and so I was frantically searching Google and signs of miscarriage, symptoms of miscarriage, signs of ectopic, symptoms of ectopic, is bleeding normal, can you have a viable pregnancy with clotting, what does this mean? And for me, with the bleeding, the amount, what it looked like, and the pain that I felt in my abdomen, I just like knew in my gut it was the end of the pregnancy.
So the beginning of my 6th week, I noticed I bled a little bit. I wiped and there was blood, and that was the first time I ever noticed any blood or whatever, and it went away after a Tuesday. The beginning of 7th week, I went the whole day and there was blood again, and I just figured, okay, it's spotting. It wasn't that bad yet. In the middle of my work day, it got heavier, and it's now accompanied by cramps, some lower back aches.
The worst part about this whole situation was that I was 2.5 hours away from home. Tyler was 2.5 hours away from me, also out of town, away from home. I was alone in my hotel room, and nobody knew. I only told Tyler, hey, the bleeding's gotten worse. That was it. It was literally at a point where I was just distraught. I tried watching TV, I tried going on my phone, I tried coloring, whatever, to just take my mind off of it, and I couldn't. And I just remember I broke down and I was sobbing, and I just wanted to go to bed, and I just wanted the night to be done, and I was terrified to wake up the next day and to be in pain and to bleed, and that I was going to have to tell my work, because if I'm in pain and I can't function, I can't work. And so I was terrified of the next day. I didn't know what was going on. I knew I just felt I was having a miscarriage, and it was just all of this stuff on me by myself in a hotel room alone. Sucked. My stomach was just ballooned out, and it was hard, and it hurt, and it was crampy, and like I said, I just wanted to go to bed. So I'm laying in bed, I'm straddling pillows, I'm trying to like get in a position that's comfortable for me to fall asleep. I'm just emotionally exhausted. I just remember trying to get comfortable, and I was clutching onto my stomach, because the second I saw 2 lines, I'm like, okay, this is a baby, this is a life. I planned out Tyler and I's life for the next year. I planned out the gender reveal, what that would look like, and just all of this information. I had already decided what I wanted to do, and it was only 3 weeks that I knew. And so I remember just like clutching onto my stomach, just saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I know there's nothing that I can do, but I don't want you to go through this. literally, I don't know, I can't explain it, and maybe someone else can relate, but I just remember clutching my stomach and literally saying, I am sorry, I will not let you go through this alone. I am here. I'm sorry. And that part was hard. And just, that's what I did. And that's what I did until I fell asleep.
Today is the day after, I'm pretty sure, I miscarried at 7 weeks. It's Monday night. I'm pretty sure it took place last night, and then like from 9 to midnight. I felt crampy, blood cramps. And then this morning, no cramps. I worked a full day. It was the longest day of my life. It's hard. I'm out of town for work, so the only person that knows is Tyler right now. So he's also out of town. I'm 2.5 hours away from home. He was like 2 hours away from me, but he's on his way to come here. It's pretty Chick-fil-A, so I told him to order the whole damn menu because I want to eat my feelings. Yeah, I called the nurse. I told her my symptoms, and she sent me to another nurse who then talked to a midwife and basically confirmed what I already assumed. So yeah, the day after, it hits me at random times. If I'm busy, I don't think about it, and if I do think about it, just kind of at surface level, I'm fine. But when I go back and look at pictures or videos that I had recorded, it gets me like this, obviously. Just excitement and just like planning. So first appointment was next Friday too, so that'll be sad. But anyways, just wanted to give myself an update on here and see where I'm at. So hopefully I can hopefully I can look back on this and be so happy, because right now I'm just chilling in this state, you know. So
I had called nurses. I talked to 2 or 3 different nurses who then talked to a midwife, and based on my symptoms and everything I gave them, they also assumed I had a miscarriage, and they just confirmed it over the phone. I couldn't go back and forth to hospitals because the hospital I go to was at home 2 hours away. And so I had 2 options. I could either wait 2 weeks, take an at-home pregnancy test on my own, and if it's negative, I had a miscarriage, and go forward. Or I could go in and get my blood levels checked. And I thought, I don't have time for that. I can't do that. I'm out of town. And so I was just going to go with the 2 weeks. But then throughout that week, something kept just digging at me and just gnawing at me. I'm like, okay, well, what if I just had this bleeding and this weird stomach pain and I'm still pregnant? I want to be sure. And so I had already called my mom the day after it happened. Tyler knew the day after what I think happened, and so I got on the phone with a nurse again, and I decided, okay, I'm going to get my HCG levels checked. And these are levels that should be going up. They're only present in your body when you are pregnant. The HCG numbers are supposed to rise quickly and rapidly, and so I went in on that Friday. I had to tell my work why I was going home because I was supposed to stay the weekend, and that was a really hard thing to do, to tell someone you're not super close to, like very in-depth about what's going on. And I did it. My heart was pounding, but I told her, and I came home, quickly got my blood drawn, And if it was, the whole thing is to make sure that the pregnancy or the miscarriage was acting as it should, and it was truly miscarrying. My levels were supposed to go down. And so I got my blood drawn. It was at 1800, and to me, being 7 weeks along, that number just seemed way too low. Tyler and I were on our way to dinner. We were going to go to a fire with friends, and when I saw those test results, my heart just sunk, and I got emotional all over again, just knowing this isn't right, this isn't normal, I know it's not. And then I just thought about the future, and I just was so scared, and I got emotional before dinner. And that night, it eventually came out. We told our friends, and then Monday I was going to get my level again. I went back up out of town to the same place 2 hours away, and I got a phone call at 4 saying that my levels went up, but only by 200. Now they were at 2,000, and that's not what should be happening. So now the nurse tells me, okay, there's one of 3 things. The miscarriage happened, but there's still residual stuff left in my body that needs to be taken out, and I have to go in to do that. I have an ectopic pregnancy, a pregnancy where the mass doesn't go down to the uterus. It actually resides in 99% of the time the fallopian tube next to the ovary, which left untreated and it keeps growing, it can burst, which causes internal bleeding and severe things that can happen within my body. Or it could be a viable pregnancy that needs to be looked at, and because obviously those numbers aren't normal, but maybe it's viable.
So I just got my blood tested or retested. I had the HCG test on Friday, and I just got it retested today on Monday to make sure that my levels of HCG are going down, to ensure that I had a miscarriage. It's literally the last appointment I think anyone wants to make, is to make sure that they lost the baby well. And so I called this morning, and they said they didn't have an appointment, but for me, they didn't have an order or anything. I'm like, that's impossible, because I was told I did, and the whole point is to make sure that the levels are going down, so I need one, and I'm going out of town. So that was just frustrating, because like the last thing you want to do is go to the appointment, and then to make things worse, they don't have the appointment. So now you're stressing out about an appointment that you don't even want to go to in the first place. But they got it all figured out, and I got it done. I'm on my way to work now, and I'm assuming in a couple of hours I'll see the number go down, and it will be the last piece of my 99.5% like thinking that I'm not pregnant will then be 100. Like, you know, there's that still 0.5, a rare case or something stupid. But hopefully I just know today. I just want to be done.